Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. Well, you may have seen my first video on swaps that I'm making for on stage, which is this coming weekend. I made little piggies and I finished 54 of those, and I shared some of my productivity tips. Well, this time I'm working on a suite called Tranquil Textures, and I've cut out and stamped a lot of octopus, and I wanted to share a productivity tip with you before I assemble all these, and I hope to share them after they're assembled as well. Okay, so the three colors that I used for these octopus are Fresh Fig. This is one of the classic stamp pads I had from last year. Okay, Tranquil Tide. This is Tranquil Tide. And again, another classic stamp pad, because you have to use what you have. That's what I have right now. We did come out with better stamp ink, and it's really a lot, these pads are a lot juicier, and these are better stamp pads because of the way they stack, And I used a mint macaroon. Okay, so these three colors are three of the colors that coordinate with this suite, Tranquil Textures. And this is the stamp pad. So we're gonna use the stamp pad right now to show you my productivity tip. Okay, so I'm gonna flip open the stamp pad, and I'm gonna go like this. So this is mint macaroon. We're gonna make one of these. Now, you may be thinking, wow, you stamped a lot of octopus and then you cut them out and they all came out really evenly. Like, how did you do that? Well, I have a trick for that. So this is what I do. First I do the die cutting. I do it in reverse order. So I do a die cut. These are thinlits. These are the under the sea thinlits or framelits from Stampin' Up. Okay, so these dies coordinate with our stamp set. Okay, so first I cut out loads of them. I've cut out probably 100 of these. So I cut them out, and I first take 3-inch strips of Whisper White cardstock, and I cut them all out, and then I use the extra ends of the paper for stamping. And then I punch through the pieces. So I take my little pokey tool, and I'm left with, I don't need to show you that part, I'm left with this. Let me just get a piece, let me turn this magnetic sheet over. Okay, I'm left with this, okay? Which is a beautiful octopus, which would be really hard to cut out without a die, okay? So it's perfect. And now I have 100 of these, and I've been doing this for just a couple days. That's all it took me to cut them out. And now I'm gonna stamp these, okay? I'm gonna stamp them all at once, but changing color in between. So here's the stamps that I'm using. I'm using Sea of Textures, okay? And so I'm using this octopus stamp, which is beautiful. Okay, I'm using the Stamparatus tool. This is in this year's annual catalog. It's a new stamp positioning tool. You may be familiar with something called the Misty. It's very similar, but it does a lot more because this is the Stamparatus tool. Well, our plates are removable, which is really nice. And I have extra plates too, so you can have many projects going on at once. So first, it just took me a little bit of practice to assemble where the stamp was gonna go. And then what I did is I taped this down with painter's tape. So all I did was take an empty, one that I had already die cut, okay, and I just taped that to the base, and I'm using the base with the sponge on it because I'm using, or not sponge, which just has a little bit of a sponge, and I'm putting it right in my Stamparatus, okay? So then I pop out I have my little pop outs that I've die cut, and I put it into the mold, if you will, okay, and it fits just perfectly in there. Okay, now I'm going to take my mint macaron. Let's move all this into the view of the camera so you can see everything I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to take the ink and I'm going to ink it up. And the way you ink is you just tap, tap, tap until you see that it's shiny and you know that you have good coverage. You know, so you just tap, tap, tap. Okay, I'm going to put my platform down onto the octopus, and I'm going to palm it. I'm just putting the palm of my hand, a little bit of pressure. That just applies even pressure. And you know what's great about the Stamparatus is if you don't do it perfectly the first time, you just can ink it up and do it again. Okay, awesome. And there's a little bit of dust on the arm of the octopus, if you notice. There's a little bit of dust because it didn't get ink. I'm going to do it a couple more times just to show you so you're clear. I die cut all these first. I lay it into my frame, which of course everything just wobbled a little bit, but that's okay. And I ink up my stamp until I get good coverage. It's shiny, so I know I have good coverage, and I stamp another octopus. And I do this about 20 times until I get bored of one color. And then I just take, I just get bored. Maybe I get bored of this color, mint macaron, and I know I have lots of projects to do, so I say, oh, well, let me change to another color. And in that case, I would wipe this off with we have stamping cleaner, you can use, I actually sometimes use baby wipes. You just have to wipe it off between colors, let it dry a little bit, because you don't want any color mixing in your stamp pads. Again, I'm just putting this there. And the one in my mold right there is, right now I'm using Whisper White, but the mold is actually shimmery white cardstock, because I cut out a bunch of octopuses that were shimmery as well. Okay. So if you're going to make a lot of swaps, which I'm going to on stage this weekend, my goal is to make 200. I've made 54, plus I have I'm going to probably make about 100 octopus. If your goal is to do something so ambitious, you have to work in stages. You have to mass produce. You have to cut out all your octopus, then you have to stamp all your octopus, and then you have to put your adhesives on the back of all your octopus, and then you assemble them. So I just love doing this. I could keep doing this all day long, and as you can see, it's very easy. And with the Stamparatus, you could have several projects going at once. All right, so what am I making? Just to give you an idea, I'm making different kinds of treats, which are going to say, like, so we have the octopus on every treat, and it's either going to say, have a wonderful adventure. This is the 2-inch circle punch, or thanks for reaching out. And this punch is in our holiday catalog. It's part of the Christmas Traditions punch box. And I love how that fit the sentiment, thanks for reaching out. And so I'm making things like, these are my mini nugget treats I have started. Okay, little mini nugget treats. I'll assemble these and show you. I have some toppers already cut out. I'm going to be making pizza boxes, which is little mini pizza boxes by Stampin' Up. I'm making all kinds of other things. I'm making some matchbook Ghirardelli chocolate holders for swapping. I'm making little boxes to put nail files in, or salon files, which the octopus will go on. And I have a lot more ideas as well. Tag topper treats and things like that. Okay, so that's why I'm getting all my pieces ready, so I'm going to be ready to assemble, and hopefully I'll do a video on all my finished projects as well. So I hope you include this, I hope you enjoyed this tip on using the Stamparatus to help with your productivity when you have big projects. If you like videos like this that are informative about crafting, please subscribe to my channel, The Papered Chef. Thank you for watching.